and Nathan Gertz.
Welcome in, everybody. What's going on? I'm Brandon Pavlina alongside the rest of the Regional Radio Sports crew here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable live from Applebee's in Farmington. It's our final one of the season as we head towards the district championships coming up on Friday. And we're here for the final time. How about that? You can watch us. As a reminder, as always, you can watch us. You just go to YouTube and type in MyMo Info Sports, and you can watch the program. You can hang out with us. You can chime in. You can shoot us some comments and say what's up and ask us some questions if you so desire. But the district semifinals are in the books. And then there were five teams left standing in our listening area after the first two rounds of the playoffs have seemingly decimated our 20-plus teams. Five remain: Farmington, Fox, Jefferson, North County, and Festus. Those are the five still standing here in our listening area, and we're going to talk about all of them, including the teams that also did lose this past week. Let's go ahead and jump into our broadcast game section. Before we do that, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Can't complain, especially because we're getting to the most exciting football of the year, at least in my opinion. These are the best games, and I will say getting to watch these games last week, I don't know about you guys, the thing that stuck out to me was that Stars didn't just play well, they played outstanding. There were some just great individual performances. I'll try to track a few of them through the night, talking to coaches afterwards, but there were just some big-time players making big-time plays in big-time games.
I think the thing I took was, there was a little bit of an unknown with maybe some of the city schools hadn't played a few games. Well, they came loaded for bear.
They're fine.
They were ready to go. Yeah, they were a mid-season form just fine.
Yeah, it seemed like really all that conversation around, where are they at as far as are they ready to go at this stage of the season pretty much came to fruition, especially when you talk about what Cardinal Ritter and St. Mary's were able to do against two what we believe to be two of the better teams in Class 3 this year. Those two teams, Ritter and St. Mary's, dispatched of Central and Valley Catholic pretty quickly. And of course, Gabler had one of the best games of the weekend, or of Friday.
Yeah, I mean, the game overall back and forth, high octane, two teams that know each other really well, and overall in a game that was well fought, hard all the way through into the end. One team came out on top and is continuing to play, and like we said, the other one going home.
Now, we will here tonight be joined by the Fox Warriors. Brent Tinker is unavailable tonight. We are going to be joined by their assistant coach and a couple of players. So we will talk to the Fox Warriors on the program later on tonight. Fox Warriors, they're already moving on. As far as we're concerned, Lindbergh has had to quarantine. They're not going to be able to play on Friday. So Fox, via forfeit, is the district champion here this year. So the Fox Warriors, at the very least, will be alive for another week to follow after this. But we're going to talk to them tonight and just kind of hear what their preparation looks like and where they stand going forward. But let's get back to Stevens' game on J98 here from Friday, because it was an absolute doozy and a fun one. And it ended up coming down to the very end. It was the North County Raiders taking on the Hillsboro Hawks. And North County, they won 36-28 in the Class 4 District 1 semifinals. And it was heard on J98. The game started off with a bang. It's Carter Kekak. Everyone knows what that kid can do. He took the opening kickoff 67 yards to set up the first score of the game. And then after a missed 2-point conversion, the Raiders led 6-0. Hillsboro, though, they answered quickly with a 6-play, 61-yard drive that was capped off by sophomore running back Jackson Patterson.
For Patterson, he's going to break it to the end zone. No one's going to touch him. All the way, 39 yards. Jackson Patterson takes that one all the way to the house. And we got a tie ball game, and I have a feeling this is the way this one's going to go all night.
Well, it's certainly how it did, as that was just the first pendulum swing, and of course both teams going for two every time, and Hillsboro getting it on their first score, so they lead 8-6. And then the Hillsboro Hawks, they struck again late in the first quarter on a long touchdown pass from quarterback Griffin Ray to sophomore running back Austin Romaine.
I formation. Ray goes under center. They're going to play action. He's going to roll out to his right to throw it. Got a man wide open, and it's caught across the 50. He's still on his feet, and he's got blockers. No one's in front of him. 20, 10, end zone. Austin Romaine, 65-yard touchdown pass from Griffin Ray to Austin Romaine.
And yeah, I mean, those two running backs are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we saw early on that Jackson Patterson was just gonna be a bulldozer, and he was gonna lower his shoulder, and he was gonna run, and he was gonna do big things. But the cool thing was, I mean, they used Austin Romaine in a lot of different ways. They would put him in the fullback position and kind of maybe give him that quick short yards gain. But then they like on that play, they would send him out of the backfield. He ran that long drag route across the field that kind of ran with Griffin Ray on the rollout. And Ray was looking deeper down the field, finds Romaine on the dump off, and then Romaine does the rest and goes all the way.
Yeah, that's what happened. First time I had seen that game, one time I had a chance to see these two teams, they just got a little short pass to Romaine, and he rumbled the rest of the way. And he's a big guy, and he's a tough guy to bring down. And so obviously off to a good start where the Hillsboro Hawks, they went up 14-6. But then the second quarter slowed things down a little bit as both teams traded the ball back and forth. And then finally, with 2 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the half, things would heat up.
Two receivers here to the near side. Outside pitch to Smith. He's got some room across the 20, and he's going across the 30. He turns on the speed. He might get caught. 40, 30, 20. No one's going to catch him. End zone. Job Smith. 85 yards from Job Smith. And now the North County Raiders are within a 2-point conversion of tying this ball game.
And the Raiders, they did. They converted the 2-point try to tie the game 14-all late in the first half. But Hillsboro, they weren't done yet either.
Look for the hard count. Take the snap. Jackson Patterson up the middle. He's got some room. Bounces to the outside. One man to beat. Stiff arm. End zone. Jackson Patterson flexing his muscles. He's into the end zone. 57 seconds to go in the first half. 20-14. Hillsboro back on top.
Wow, this just kept on going as that put Hillsboro up 22-14. And there was only 57 seconds left on the clock before the half. That's all North County needed as they took full advantage.
Two receivers split out right, two to the left. One back in the backfield, offset left. Now goes man in motion from left to right is Keytek. Shotgun snap, looking. Throws it in the end zone. Got a man, and it's caught. End zone. Number 9, Nate Ensley. As time expires in the first half.
That is a wild finish to that first half, man. 3 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah, and that last touchdown by the North County scores comes on a 4th down and goal from like the 12-yard line. With 3 seconds left on the clock, and they just toss it up. And Ensley, he's a big young man. He goes up, he's probably north of 6 feet, 6'2" maybe, but he's bulky. And he just went up there and grabbed it and came down with it. And I mean, the game was going quickly. I mean, its first quarter was run, going quickly, and then you hit that 2 minutes, 41 second mark in the second half, and it was timeouts being taken, coaches posturing, big plays here and there, more passing from North County as they switched their game plan up a little bit when they got down by a couple of scores. So it was just, I mean, the end of that first half was just as entertaining as it gets.
Brian Jones has talked a lot this year about taking over as the play caller this season for them, and I think it's a perfect fit because he plays to win. Forget just 4th and goal at the 12. It's the way they're deploying their personnel and the way they're calling plays. You talked about it. They're more of a run-first team throughout the year. Blake Head's been their leading primary ball carrier. Not only will they spread you out in big games like this one, but also Job Smith, the kid that you look at who's 5'11", 165, you think, oh, he's a receiver. He carried it 20 times for 180 yards. I mean, he's a bulldog when he handles the football running it too. I love what they do because it's one of those offenses that against the top opponents they've had this year, they put so much variety on film. You have to be prepared for everything.
Well, and the tough part about it is that after the game, talking to Coach Jones, they had a bunch of players that they couldn't play for unforeseen circumstances. But Blake Head was one of those players, and he was saying that he doesn't like having to put that much, that load of running the ball on Joe Smith. He's only a sophomore; he's 15 years old. But I proposed him the question saying, "Hey, you can count on him like that." And he was like, well, if you need him like that, you can count on him. She proved that he can really run the ball well.
So regardless, back to it, we're tied 22-all heading into the break after just a frenetic end to the first half. I mean, that pace is crazy. So 22-all, North County, Hillsboro tied heading into the break. And then each team, they came out, each one scored in the third quarter and missed the 2-point conversion. So they still remain tied 28-all heading into the final frame. Hillsboro, they drove all the way down the field to the North County 12-yard line, but they failed to convert on 4th down, a turnover on downs, and the Raiders, Well, once again, they took full advantage. They drove 88 yards in 13 plays and finished off the drive by Raider quarterback Nolan Reed.
High formation up here for the Raiders. Here's the snap. Quarterback keeper. He's got a lane to the end zone. And that is a 9-yard touchdown run. Nolan Reed takes it himself, and he puts the Raiders back on top. 34-28. Raiders lead.
Well, there you go. North County went up late, and then they got the 2-point conversion that made it 36-28. And with all the offense on the field all night long, the team that made the biggest play of the game, or the side of the ball rather, is the North County defense, as they sealed the win.
Here's the snap to Griffin Ray. Play action, looking to throw. Rolls out to his right, still looking. And now he's going to throw it. Intercepted. Carter Kekek does it. Carter Kekek comes up with a huge interception for North County. And North County will take over. And might that have just been the dagger?
Indeed it was, as Carter Kekek puts an exclamation point on the win. And I believe he's creeping up. He's almost to the top of the North County school record board for career interceptions. And granted, he is a senior, so he'll be done after this, but he's going to be in that record book for receiving yards and interceptions. So what a career, what a season for Carter Kekek and this North County Raiders defense. Let's go ahead and hear from Brian Jones, head coach of North County. As he was certainly very emotional after the game, and he told us what was going through his head after his team took the final lead.
I hope that we can stop the Hawks, because I knew we was going to kick off to them, and they were going to turn around and probably try to drive right down the field again at us. We didn't quite get the kickoff that we wanted. Grant's this is his first year kicking football on Friday nights. We asked him to put the ball in the spot, and he got a little long and a little left of it. But luckily, our kickoff guys were able to trip him up, and he was, we were able to set up shop defensively around midfield.
Yeah, set up shop, and then Carter makes the game-sealing play. And after the game, let's hear from Bill Saharsky, the head coach of the Hillsboro Hawks, as he was focused on his team's effort.
I'm proud of their effort. We battled a tough team, made some mistakes early that led to the big kickoff. We had them down there, kind of let them get loose, and they got down there. There's things that turn the tide in the game. The ball gets loose on the turf, and they come up with it. If we come up with that, maybe it's a different ball game. But that's football. Proud of our kids' effort, just really proud of our seniors battling through the year the way they had.
Well, I mean, we had a feeling this was going to be a really good game. Both of you guys can chime in on this, because Nathan, obviously, that Hillsboro team up closer to you, North County right in our backyard here. But this was one we anticipated to be a good game. Conference foes, even division foes within the conference. So they're very familiar with one another. And this one did not disappoint. And really, you got to tip your cap to the Hillsboro Hawks throughout this season, because they were very young at some of those key skill positions when you talk about the two running backs and the quarterback. And they still had a terrific season. On the other side, for North County, I mean, what can you say about what that offense and what they can do when they won football games? They put up an awful lot of points this year.
Yeah, well, the one thing I have to say about them knowing each other very well is the celebration after the game from the North County side when they had figured, when they eventually won. I mean, they were going nuts because they had lost to them earlier that year, and of course, Coach Jones, very very emotional after the game. But I really think that you saw on Friday night, you saw what an entire season, like an evolution during a season, can come to. North County loses 36-14 in week 4 and comes out and wins 36-28 in the playoffs. You see the maturity. You talked about how young this Hillsboro team is. They are very young, especially when your quarterback is young. And that's what I attribute, not to take anything away from Carter Kekek, but that last play of the game was Griffin Ray trying to make a play as a young sophomore quarterback and trying to force the ball into a throw that necessarily he didn't need to make. Great play on the ball by Kekek, obviously, but you saw the maturity of a more experienced team in North County in the playoffs when it mattered.
Yeah, you're talking about a North County team that I think more than anything just felt like they should not have gotten out physical the way they did down the stretch in that first meeting. They obviously held up in the line of scrimmage this time, and I think the biggest reason why they were so excited and emotional, if I'm reading this right, that's the first time since 2005 that they've made a district championship game. So it's been a long, long time coming for the Raiders.
Yeah, good for them. And in North County, they improved to 6-3. They're going to be taking on Festus coming up on Friday. That's going to be a fun one, too, and we'll talk about that one later on. Class 4 District 1 championship. It'll be on J98, and Nathan Gertz will have the call of that one. Hillsboro, their season comes to an end at 5-5. Moving on over to the game on AM 800 KREI. It was Farmington and Seckman going to battle up in Imperial. Chad Speaker was on the call as Farmington at Seckman, Class 5, District 1 semifinal. It was billed as a slugfest between two physical throwback power teams, and in that respect, it did not disappoint. The Knights, they came out victorious 24-6, but they led by only 1 at the half. Farmington took their first drive the length of the field, 80 plays. Can you
That would
imagine?
be monumental.
Farmington might be able to pull that off, though.
They might.
So,
Anyone's going to pull it off.
yeah.
Farmington, they took their first drive the length of the field, 80 yards in 9 plays. Still a long drive. Quarterback Caden Filesy capped it off with a 1-yard score, and then Seckman, they responded with a 13-play drive, but they came up empty with a turnover. So a little back and forth there. And then in the second quarter, the Jaguars sophomore quarterback Cole Rubel, he engineered an 11-play drive looking for the tie, and he scored from 1 yard out, but Farmington was able to block the extra point to maintain the lead. Then with the score still 7-6 as it was at the break, Farmington in the third quarter, it was senior safety Wyatt Westbrook who came up with the play of the game.
They go with the counter play this time, and now a pass back over here, and it's picked off by Westbrook. Westbrook picks it off. He's going the other way to the 30, to the 20. Westbrook to the 10, to the 5, spins, dives, looking for the end zone, and can't quite do it. He's at the 1 yard line. Westbrook picks it off, heads the other way. His second interception of the year, did everything but get the pick 6. And Westbrook picked it off at about the 50-yard line and went 49 yards the other way.
Well, able to get points out of it, and as you mentioned there, Chad, it was a turning point in the ball game and certainly the play of the game. But take me through kind of what happened there. It sounded like a throwback pass. What were they trying to do there?
Yeah, work it to Connor Reynolds, who is their backup quarterback, and a little kind of reverse action, taking it from the left to the right side, then a throw back the other way. But Westbrook stayed home the whole time. Coach Krupe always talks about fit and doing your job and responsibility defense, and he also talks about his safeties and how they really lead the defense. They make the calls. They have a lot of different responsibilities, and Wyatt's a 3-year starter, now a senior. So a guy that you would maybe expect to come up with one of those smart football plays does so.
Yeah, he certainly did. And Westbrook, you had a chance to catch up with him after the game, and he said that the Knights, they had done their homework on that play.
And that alignment there, I'm responsible for anything coming out to the flat. So whenever I saw the quarterback, I guess their second quarterback, come out to the flat, I saw him, and then that was my guy, and I stuck with him. So we had repped it a couple times in practice, but no, I didn't know it was coming for sure. So I just kind of followed my rules and followed my eyes.
Well, practice makes perfect. And look, for the Seckman Jaguars, Chad, I mean, we talked about it really over the last couple of weeks that this Seckman team, after that win against Central, was just kind of getting bookmark victories for their program. And obviously their season comes to an end. And you had mentioned in our pregame interview that, it was unfortunate that it's melancholy, rather, that they're at where they're at in the season, where they're on the verge of having one of the winningest seasons in program history, and they've lost 2 weeks this year, where they weren't able to play 2 games, where they very easily could have eclipsed those marks. And
I wonder they maybe would have rather played, that first week of the postseason too. They could have tied their win total, for the program history, but
but obviously they put up a fight against Farmington. They gave them about everything they could handle until Farmington made a couple of big plays.
It was a good game. It was a physical game. It was, what we thought it would be. But, like we said, a turnover here or there could cost you in a game like this with limited possessions.
Yep.
And certainly it did there. Special teams was a factor. Farmington blocks the extra point. Now the Knights also, and we'll get into it a little bit on our recap here. They kicked a field goal, which that's a weapon that Farmington has. They can get 3 once they get in field goal position. And what it does is it turns it from 1 possession game into a 2 possession game. And in a game like that where it's mostly run based, that kind of changes the way you have to go about attacking.
Well, Seckman, they averaged 358 rushing yards per game, but Farmington, they held the Jags to only 20 second half yards. 70 second half yards. Is that in total? They only allowed 70 yards the whole second half?
Second half,
wow.
Yeah. So some good adjustments by the Knights defense.
Yeah, certainly so. Cale Krause, he made it a 2-score game with a 25-yard field goal, as Chad alluded to. Knights senior fullback Braden Botkin, he had a huge night, 259 yards on 19 carries, and late in this one, he put a comeback out of reach.
And indeed, the give is to Bodkin. And Bodkin busts through the middle. Bodkin off to the races. He's in midfield. He breaks his tackle. Bodkin to the 40. Does he have enough left? They're tracking him down to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Braden Bodkin. He goes 88 yards. And he may have put the first nail in this coffin.
Well, how about that? I mean, we've heard him all year long making plays like that, but to go for 259 yards in a district semifinal game against a really physical Seckman team, that's pretty nice for Braden Bodkin.
It was a pretty good statement from him because we've seen Bodkin this year in fourth quarters in games where Farmington has been able to kind of exert their physical will in the game. You've seen guys maybe become a little bit less interested in tackling him late in games, and it was a little bit that way in the fourth quarter of this one, and Bodkin certainly took advantage. It was really a rumble type of carry because he broke 2 tackles at the line of scrimmage, and so he was unable to get up to a full head of steam, and so guys caught him from behind, and as guys were coming at him, he was just shedding guys the whole way down the field, and ended up taking it all the way in. So nice night for him. 259, but sophomore Cole Rubel, I was very impressed with him. A tough kid, a good athlete, 30 carries from that quarterback spot for 139, so he was tough as well.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem for a lot of defenses up in Imperial, and anybody who has to come to that area to play the Seckman Jaguars. He's going to be a problem for the next couple of years because we saw him go for 400 against Central. I mean, he is a beast when he wants to be, and he's only a sophomore, so he's going to continue to put on weight and develop, and he is going to be even bigger and badder as the years go down. So,
his running style I really like because first of all, he's a quarterback in the single wing. But what I like about him, he's got a little toughness. He can break it. You're not going to arm, you're not going to arm tackle the guy. He's got some speed, so he can outrun you. But I love his bounce. So he can start to the inside, but if he feels a little pressure there, he can bounce it to the outside. He's really got nice vision for a young kid.
Well, let's call him a quarterback for the sake of he's the one receiving the snap on every play. The Seckman Jaguars don't throw the football, okay? I mean, the reality of the situation is he's playing pretty much a running back style quarterback position there. So, you know what? You expect him to be able to tote the rock, and he obviously showed that he could do that with great regularity. And as I said, I mean, only a sophomore and doing the kind of things he was able to do this year. That's going to be a fun guy to keep an eye on over the next couple of years. But Farmington, they improved to 9-2 on the year. And they're going to head back down to Jackson, of course, for the district championship game on Friday. We'll talk about that one a little bit later on. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Knights. They know it. Everyone knows it. But the Knights are going to go down there and fight tooth and nail. Seckman, of course, a great turnaround season, made school history, several landmark wins as Seckman finishes at 5-3 after they went 2-8 last year. All right, let's take our first time out here on the Kohl's Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable live from Applebee's in Farmington. When we come back, we'll look at our games on KJEF and also on the MIMO Info Sports Stream. All that coming up. Stick around on the Kohl's Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable.
At Country Health Center, we join with many health organizations in Jefferson County to meet the needs of increased COVID testing demand.
We're on the 4-minute break.
Hillsborough and Hickory locations, or schedule our mobile community testing van to visit your business facility. To receive testing in Hillsborough, please call 636-481-6040. To receive testing in High Ridge, please call 636-677-9977. For the most up-to-date information, visit www.comtree.org.
Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy wants to remind you that it's time to consider your Medicare Part D signups for the coming year. We are an authorized claim enrollment center, and our claim-certified staff have the training and knowledge to assist you with the information you need to choose the best Medicare Part D plan for your needs. Give any of our stores in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, or Piedmont a call to schedule a time to come by and speak with us. Parkland Health Mart wants to be your healthcare partner because we're always caring for you and about you.
Flex Equipment was founded as a family-owned and operated business, where it remains to this day. Known best for selling exceptional equipment such as Case IH, Hustler, Vermeer, Cub Cadet, Massey Ferguson, and many more. Flex Equipment is a proven company with certified technicians and customer service where you're more than just a number. Our certified technicians can diagnose, troubleshoot, repair, and maintain your equipment. Not just one color, but every color. Even if you don't purchase your equipment here, we can provide you with the best service available and the largest selection of parts. As the months turn colder, it's time to service your equipment, get it ready for spring and summer. Winterize your equipment and tune up any equipment that you'll need over the winter. We do that here, and we do it well. If you're in the market for a new compact tractor, blades, whatever the need, see us here at Fliggs Equipment. Make us your first stop. Fliggs Equipment, Highway 32 in St. Genevieve, and on the Outer Service Road in Ludington. Online 24/7 at fliggs.com. Fliggs Equipment. Let our family serve your family.
Purchasing a hot tub is one of the best decisions you can make for you and your family. Hi, I'm Megan Osbar, manager of Home Pools and Spas in Ludington. There is nothing more rejuvenating than stepping into your own spa, transcending into luxurious and therapeutic relaxation. If you are considering purchasing a hot tub, I invite you to stop in and see what we can do for you. We are Home Pools and Spas on the Outer Road, just south of Ludington.
Going home is where the fun. Everybody's going home. Pool and Spa.
Are you in the market to buy or refinance a home? Hi, Paul Hale here with New Era Bank. And at New Era Bank, we make all of our loan decisions locally. And once the loan is closed, we'll make your payments locally. Therefore, if you ever have an issue with your loan, we're here to help. Our trusted loan officers can help you navigate the sometimes complicated process of home financing. Visit any of our branches today or our website at www.newerabank.com for more information about buying a home. New Era Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
From shredding to mailboxing, the UPS Store does everything for small business, even impressing your customers. When you have your packages professionally packed by our certified packing experts and backed with the pack and ship guarantee to make sure your business looks outstanding. The UPS Store, everything for small business. And of course, shipping. The UPS Store franchise locations are independently owned and operated. Services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
Hi, this is Jim, owner of the UPS Store in Festus. See us now at our new location at 650 North Creek Drive next to Tiger Express Car Wash.
Hi, this is Brad Smith at your home, the Noble
Be back
Deal
in a minute.
Center. What is the Noble Deal? It's simple. It's a deal no other Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, or Jeep dealer offers. Sure, you can shop around, but we're confident that you will come home to our way of doing business. We take the nationally advertised programs one step further and offer you the lowest locally advertised price, and we guarantee it. So whether you see us first or see us last, we are the dealer that will give you the best Noble Deal and service anywhere. We are Lucas Smith Chrysler Center in Festus, or check us out on lucasmith.com.
Cleaning chemicals, disinfectants, and paper products are just a few of the items available from C&C Suppliers in Farmington. I'm Cheryl Sneed, owner of C&C Suppliers, a janitorial and food service supplier for commercial and residential use. We carry cleaning products, disposable food containers, gloves, sanitizers, disinfectants, face masks, shields, paper products, and so much more. Find C&C Suppliers on Facebook or stop by our location on Flat River Road in Farmington.
Welcome back here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable, live from Applebee's in Farmington. Brandon Pavlina alongside Chad Speaker, Nathan Gertz, and Stephen Kabler. And, of course, everyone waving to the camera because you can hop on YouTube and watch the show. You can head on over to YouTube and go to MyMo Info Sports, MYINFO Sports. Why can I not do that now? I used to be able to do that, MYINFO Sports. It's spelling, man. Words are hard.
You might even be able to see Ethan, the Applebee's guy.
You might be able to.
If you tune in at the right time.
You probably could. Yeah, Ethan, our good friend here at Applebee's, treats us fantastically, and it's a good time over here. You can come on and join us at Applebee's in Farmington. Come say hi, make fun of me for not being able to spell, and listen to us talk about a little football. And speaking of, let's get back to it. Let's talk about the game that was heard on AM 1400 KJEF. Another rematch on the airwaves as the Festus Tigers took on the DeSoto Dragons, a DeSoto team that had won their first game of the season in the final week of the regular season. They won a proverbial second game in a row, and they won by forfeit in the quarterfinal round. And we're taking on this DeSoto team that they played really well first matchup. But this time, Festus was able to pull away late. Very similar story in this one. A hard-fought game early, but the Tigers pulled away late as they cruised to a 35-7 win, did the Festus Tigers over DeSoto in the Class 4 District 1 semifinal on KJEF. 3-and-out on the opening series for Festus, and then the Tigers, 3-and-out on the opening series for Festus, and then the offense hit a big fourth down play. So they're 3-and-out early, and then a fourth down play by the quarterback, Cole Rickerman, as he made a big one.
Trips here to the near side for Festus facing fourth and long. Rickerman from the shotgun. Fakes the give. Now he'll throw. Far sideline. Looking. Wagner. Was that caught? Yes, it was. Dalen Wagner hangs on a perfect throw from Cole Rickerman. and Fisher finally drags him down. What a throw by Cole Rickerman to pick up 4th and long and gain 33 yards.
Yeah, big play there. 4th down early. Festus getting the go, and the long completion to Wagner. That led to points one play later.
Shotgun snap. Rickerman, he'll give it to Yates. Picks his way through tacklers. Drives. Dives for the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Festus. Landon Yates scores his first TD of the year and caps a very impressive second Festus possession with a score for the Tigers to jump in front 6-0, just less than 5 minutes left here in the opening quarter.
So leading 7-0, the Festus defense, they got optimistic.
H-back there is Will Rector, rising from the gun. Fires here near side, picked off. Intercepted Dalton Yates. Has it down the sideline. Inside the 30. Down inside the 20. Dragging tacklers down inside the 15. And he'll get brought down all the way inside the 10. Dalton Yates read that play from the word go. And he snatches the interception of Rising and takes it all the way down to the DeSoto 8-yard line.
And then, of course, no surprise. You get the momentum going, and it's hard to slow them down. The Tigers, they made DeSoto pay 3 plays later.
3rd and goal with a yard to go. They will have 2 wide to the far side of the field on 3rd down. Handoff plays. Big hole right side. Looks in untouched. Touchdown, Festus. Nobody was even going to breathe on Caden Glaze that time as he stepped around a huge hole. The right side of that offensive line, Lucas Smith and Rodney Campbell, the seniors, going to work to open that one up. And with 3:09 left in the first quarter, Festus has doubled up the lead down to 13-0.
Well, they tacked on the PAT, 14-0 the lead, and that's where it stood all the way through the first quarter. But then Festus, they finally would add on in the final 2 minutes of the first half.
Rickerman, shotgun snap, is going to look to throw here near side. Has Isaac Stuku, makes the catch and breaks the tackle. Inside the 45, inside the 40, breaking free inside the 30, 20, 10, touchdown, Festus. Just a simple slant route to Isaac Stuka. He broke 1 tackle at the 40, and he outran everybody all the way 59 yards for the score for the Tigers. The 4th TD catch of the year for the junior. And with 1:26 to go to the break, Festus builds on and makes it 20-0.
And a PAT good, 21-0. A good start for the Tigers, certainly, in that first half. But DeSoto, they went back down as they recovered a muff punt at the start of the 3rd quarter, and they finally got a big play to get on the board.
2 wide here near side. Rising will roll out from the shotgun, looking to throw. Across his body, fires end zone. It is caught. Did they say he got his feet in? Yes, they do. Touchdown to Soto. That looked like Caleb Coleman, who they had out wide, and he is able to haul one in the back of the end zone here on the near sideline. A great throw on the move to his left by Rising, and a great toe tap catch by Coleman. His first TD catch of the season gets DeSoto on the board here, as with 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, they're now down 21-6.
Great time to get your first touchdown catch of the season, but unfortunately that was really all that the Dragons were able to muster, as they couldn't get a whole lot of more offense. Senior Desmond Davis, he led the way for a vicious Tigers defensive line.
1st and 10 at the Dragon 47. Rising will keep it on the shotgun handoff and gets ripped down from behind up high and thrown to the ground for a loss. There's Desmond Davis again, simply unblockable. They call him Truck for a reason, and he hits like one, and he hammered Rising up high, grabbed him up around the shoulder pads, and shoved him to the turf for a loss of 2. Yeah, Brandon, when I go back and I look at this game, I think it really just hinges on a simple fact of that Desmond Davis, who has been a monster this year for Festus up front on the defensive line, he didn't play the first time they went up against DeSoto. That was a competitive game for 2.5 quarters, and that was a big reason why, is that DeSoto was able to move the football, running it straight up front. Compare it to what happened on Friday night, where there were times where Desmond Davis, at that mesh point between the quarterback and the running back, he was there in the backfield too.
Yeah.
His get-off speed is the thing that beat that DeSoto offensive line, not even his strength. And the result is, just silly numbers. 6 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. He was more than worthy of being Applebee's Farmington player of the game.
Well, sometimes when you have one of those kinds of players up front, a game wrecker, if you will, it changes everything that you try to do on offense.
Yeah, it makes it impossible to move the football for DeSoto. So I credit them with just being able to put that drive together to get on the board because it felt like a night where every time they snapped the ball, Truck Davis was going to wreck the play.
Yeah, 21-7 though the score as Festus, they got their offense right back on the horse once they got the ball in the third quarter.
Ball on the far side hash, receiver to each side. Rickerman, shotgun handoff, Glaze. Made a man miss, jukes his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Festus. Caden Glaze with just an incredible dead leg in the backfield to make an oncoming linebacker miss. And he will walk on in for his second rushing TD of the night. And with 5.5 left in the third quarter, Festus extends the lead to 27-7.
And already up 3 scores, Festus, they put on the finishing touches with another dose of magic from Rickerman.
As we start the fourth quarter, Cole Rickerman keeps, looks to throw far side. It's caught! Colin Doyle dives, end zone, touchdown, Festus! Rickerman keeps it on the play fake, avoids the rush. He looked sure like he was dead to rights in the backfield, and then somehow he escapes and finds his senior receiver Doyle on the far side of the field, who snags a perfect back shoulder fade and falls into the end zone. And that may be the dagger for the Tigers as they're up here at the start of the fourth quarter, 34-7.
Cole Rickerman, he threw for 233 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Nathan, I'll tell you what, for A.J. Ofadale to step into that position and to have a quarterback like Cole Rickerman who could figure out this offense that quickly and can throw the ball the way that Coach Ofadale wants to, it's pretty fortunate, and it's worked out and been a really good combination for those Tigers.
Yeah, we're talking about a kid that only threw it 51 times total last season. So this is a completely different adjustment for him, and he's been asked to do even more since they lost their top running back, Austin Anderson, midway through the year. And then a guy, Landon Bradshaw, that's been a part of the rotation, wasn't playing this week. And on top of that, talking with Ofadale afterwards, the reason that you heard Landon Yates and Caden Glaze carrying the ball so much, Cole Wagner and Dalton Yates will play 2 ways a lot. He said straight up, I didn't want them to play offense this week if I could avoid it.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is they're asking more of their junior QB than ever, and he's responding. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, 233, 2 touchdowns, and Tigers head coach A.J. Ofadale said it could have been a more complete performance, but a win is a win in the playoffs.
So not necessarily the clean run that we hope to have, but at this time of year, and we emphasize to our guys early in the week in practice, this time I don't care, 48 minutes and, we're up by 1 at the end of 48 minutes, I'm happy. I won't complain. And, so even though it wasn't necessarily the most artistic performance in the world, it gets the job done and it moves us on. And there's 16 teams left in Class 4 and we're one of them. So I would not complain about that.
DeSoto, they end the season with a 2-7 record. Dragons head coach Chris Johnson. You got to love the way that Coach Johnson was positive about this team all year long. Coach Johnson said that his players never stopped working despite adversity.
Whoever that guy was that was having to play, whoever had to take over for another guy that's in quarantine, all we're asking you to do is do exactly how we're trying to coach you to do it as hard as you possibly can. And if you do that, we'll live with the results. So in this situation, definitely not ideal, but couldn't be prouder of the way these guys continue to battle. They never quit. They never stop. They never question anything that we ask them to do. And at the end of the day, as a coach, that's all you can ask.
Now 9-1, Festus, they're going to look to claim a district championship. They're going to host the North County Raiders. That is going to be a fun one. That was maybe the best game of the entire regular season in the area between Festus and North County. That's the Class 4 District 1 title match. We'll have it on Friday on J98. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to be joined by a couple of Fox Warriors players and also an assistant coach. We'll chat with them about their district championship that they have acquired here over the last few days. And we'll also look ahead for them in the playoffs as they now have a chance to enter the state tournament and maybe make a run at this thing in Class 6. So we'll be back in just about a minute or two right here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable.
This is Dr. Karen Nelson at Hearing Care Partners. We hope you don't miss a single thing this sports season. Stop by for a free hearing screening so you'll hear every play and the person sitting right next to you. One of the best parts of the game is chatting with old friends and making new ones.
Yes.
We wish all our local players a safe and healthy sports season. It's Hearing Care Partners. Find us online at hearingcarepartners.com.
Mario's Italia serves the best Italian food in the area. Pizza, pastas, calzones, trombones, salads, and sub sandwiches, all with huge, large portions and the freshest ingredients. You've got to try the Meat Lovers Pizza. That is my favorite. Get Mario's full menu online at mariositalia.com. You'll be satisfied with all the choices Mario's has to offer. Dine in, call it in, or have it delivered. Mario's will even cater your next special event. Open 7 days a week. Mario's Italia, located in the factory at the corner of 1st and A Streets in downtown Farmington.
Add the taste of fresh produce to your table with the staff at Richard's Produce in Festus. Missouri-grown fruits and vegetables bursting with flavor from apples, strawberries, and blackberries to seasonal vegetables to complete your next meal. Decorate your home with pumpkins, corn stalks, gourds, and straw to give it the feel of the season. For farm fresh produce any time of the year, stop by Richard's Produce just off Veterans Highway on North Creek Drive. Just look for the Red Barn. Richard's Produce. Great people, great prices, great place to shop. Join them on Facebook for more information.
When life changes, where can
Coming
you
to
get
you
the
in 30
healthcare that
seconds.
you or your loved one needs? Try Presbyterian Manor,
Thank you, Hunter.
where we consider you family. Being a member of our family means having a skilled, compassionate team, making sure you live your best life. Call 573-756-6768 today and schedule a visit to see why the community voted us the best independent living, best assisted living, and best skilled nursing community in the Parkland area.
Well, we're back on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable, live from Applebee's in Farmington here on J98. I'm Nathan Gertz, Brandon Pavlina, Chad Speaker, and Stephen Kabler with us. Come say hi to Amy Cousins' crew here at Applebee's in Farmington. They have done a very good job of taking care of us all season, and we thank them for hosting. This is our last show of the season, so we appreciate them doing that. They got great deals for you. Brandon will sing the praises of the Long Island iced tea all the live long day. But before we get to that, and before we get to talking about the other football that happened in our area, we're going to talk a little bit about the Fox Warriors, who are Class 6 District 1 champions. Now, I know what you're saying. Wait, the district title games are being played this weekend, right? Unique circumstances, and we're going to dive into that in the season that they've had so far. We have with us assistant coach Dennis Sander and a couple of players, Silas Stranger and Connor Sparks, a couple of linebackers for that defense. And, Coach, I will start with you first and foremost. It's unfortunate for your opponent, the Lindbergh Flyers, that they're not going to be able to play this Friday night in that district championship game. That said, I imagine the conversation at practice yesterday and even today is along the lines of, first and foremost, it's going to feel weird, but you've earned a district championship. And number two, we have a chance to do something even more special now going forward, so the work is not done.
Correct. Obviously, we can't control the circumstances of the season. We can't control, who gets COVID and who has to drop out. That's out of our hands. So in this situation, we are blessed to be the ones to continue to play, and we look forward to the next challenge.
Well, the next challenge will be the Class 6 state semifinals. I want to go back a little bit in time to when we found out about the Michigan classification changes, because I got to see you guys in training camp, and I kept hearing the name Jackson over and over again because you thought you would probably be with them in Class 5. Once you got bumped up and you find yourself in that Class 6 district, was there any little quick adjustment period where you had to say, hey, listen, just because we're not in a district with the best team in the state in Class 5, we're now with the biggest of the big boys? Or did the kids just take it in stride and go, we're ready, they were almost ready to start playing postseason football right then and there?
Coach Tinker doesn't allow us to think like that. We always focus on us and taking care of us and how do we get better each day in practice. And when it comes time to preparing for the games, we'll prepare for those on a week-by-week basis. But the main focus has always been, what can we do? What do we need to do to make ourselves better?
The focus has been pretty good so far, just in these playoffs. On top of now a 9-1 record on the season, in these last two games, you take Vianney, a team that's up in the St. Louis area competing against big Class 6 opponents every year. You beat them 42-0. And then this last week, 49-28 over Lafayette of Wildwood. Focusing specifically on that performance, this is an offense that all year has gone through Brock Inman, your senior QB, and then a lot of Jake Waters and Chase Maxey mix in there. Jahad Thompson went off, 212 yards and 3 TDs on just 9 carries. He was great this week. How nice was that to see him explode on offense and add another weapon people have to worry about in your double wing attack?
Oh, it was wonderful to get him those offensive touches. We've been slowly working him back into offense. We knew he could be a major contributor there. This year, given the COVID circumstances, we really were trying to two-platoon as much as possible, and Jihad was primarily an offensive player all year for us. So we just had a couple of individuals that were playing both sides of the ball, and here late in the season, we had a couple of injuries, so some of those other kids had to come over and start taking their share, and Jihad got his opportunity, and you can see what he's capable of.
Assistant Coach Dennis Sander, the Fox Warriors, joining us here on the Cole Strackner Equipment Football Roundtable. Talking to Brent Tinker, the head coach throughout the year, he's brought up Jihad has the chance to be a great player on the defensive side. And speaking of, I want to talk with our two players that we have here with Fox as well. I'm going to start with Silas Stranger, who you've had a very nice year at linebacker. Silas, I know defense mattered to you guys, and you were really good at it a year ago, but when did you get the feeling this season you had a chance to be as dominant as you've been this year?
Everyone's pushed me to be the best. They told me to be the best, you got to beat the best. So I went into the year knowing that me and Michael Merlenbach were going to share reps, and I just had to beat him out of the spot for it.
Connor Sparks, kind of along the same lines, how much fun is it to go to practice every day and play for this defense?
It's awesome. The competitiveness out there. For the 4 years I've been here, this is definitely the most competitive year we've had at practice. People trying to get in and out, get in their spots, earn your role, get your playing time.
And, I want to ask the question. I want to know what practice is like for you guys on that defensive side of the ball, because I know when I was in high school and I was playing on our defensive side, we had some guys who loved to get flying around in practice, being loud, yelling, getting after it. If you're a great defense, I feel like a lot of times you have to have that energy in practice. So either one of you guys, I'll start with you, Silas. What does it sound like? What does it look like for you guys when you're at practice with that defense?
Well, on defense, we start out as individual groups, and then we go to our team session, our 7-on-7, and 7-on-7 is fun. We have our coach Lashley. He always makes it real fun.
And Connor, and so for you, are you a loud guy out there? Or do you guys fly around? Are you guys kind of chirping a little bit when you guys are even in practice playing on the defensive side?
Oh, yeah. We're always talking our stuff to the offense, trying to push everybody. It's real fun. It's been it's my first year starting, so it's been a real fun experience forming into the player that we've all been asked to be, and I couldn't be more proud of my guys.
Hey, always got to shape a little character on that scout team,
Well, and they go up against some good ones on offense. We talked about Brock Inman, Chase Maxey, Jake Waters, and obviously a big week for Jihad Thompson just recently. Coach Sander, when we talk about that offense and the variety of weapons, it's a double wing attack. You're going to run it down people's throats first and foremost. But the fact is, the variety of athletes who can touch the ball and make a play, I know that's the big thing that makes it go. When you guys are going well, what would you say is the thing that you do best?
Discipline amongst the offensive line. When those guys are firing all cylinders, the offense can run anything they want, whether they want to run the option game or the handoff game. Really, it all comes down to those big guys up front. So if they're disciplined with their steps, we're gonna have a good night.
Talking with the Fox Warriors, assistant coach Dennis Sander, and a couple of players on the defense, Silas Stranger and Connor Sparks, joining us, and we've talked about what has been. Let's look ahead, because now, having won a district title by forfeit, the very strange reality sets in where you are 2 wins away from a state championship. And I know you guys focus on one game at a time, but has the moment sunk in as the season's gone along with wins like you got against Ladue late in the year, where you realize that you're putting together as good a season as you've had in school history, Coach?
Yeah, Fox High School has never won 10 games in a season. So to get this 10th win officially, I know it came via forfeit, but to get 10 wins in a season is a milestone for this for the school. It's also the first ever district championship for our program. Looking ahead, as you say, we've made some of those milestones over Ladue and Lafayette and Vianney, some of those programs that in years past they were big hurdles for us, and we finally got over those hurdles, and now we're sitting here in the Final Four of Class 6. We've been here, about 15 years ago under Coach Giannino. We made a trip to the semifinals. So we've done that before, but this is a different group. They've accomplished some big goals with the first 10-win season and the first official district championship. So from here, as Coach Tinker likes to say, it's house money.
Coach, you guys really had to work hard to make sure your schedule came together, even week to week. And is it going to benefit you at this point in the year, having played several games, to have a week off? Do you need guys to get refreshed a little bit? Will that give you maybe an advantage against the team that's playing this week?
I think so. I mean, the schools who came in late into October, they don't have as much mileage on their legs as we would, or the teams that have started from day one. So that helps. We certainly have some lingering injuries, some nagging things that are, it's good to take that break and give them a little chance to heal up. Focus on cleaning some things up that we need to fix before we head into that next round.
Guys, I want to ask the players a couple of questions. Again, same question for both of you. And after just hearing Coach Sander mention that, I want to know what it means to you guys. So I'll start with you, Silas. Being a member of the first ever district champion for the football program over there, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It's been in the conversation all 4 years of my high school career, and all of us have always thought that our class would be the team to do it.
Well, and you guys were the ones to do it. And for you, Connor, when you think about being, all you guys are going to be cemented into, the Fox football, record book as the first district champion in school history. When you think about that, what does that mean to you to be able to be a part of that team?
It's awesome. People look at Fox and for a long time saying that we couldn't do it. We didn't have the team, we didn't have the coaching, and working hard 4 years to get where we're at right now. Just making a family up here. It's awesome.
It's a fun environment, getting a chance to be around it this summer. You guys run a first-class program, Coach, and your kids are the reason why, because they show up for work every day. And you get to put in a little more work now. DeSmet or Francis Howell, still waiting on that. The nice thing about having this off week is you get a chance to sit down and watch it if you can find it on Friday night. And then I guess the other thing would be, on top of the fact that you'll get to actually scout out your opponent and see them play a game this coming Friday night. The other part I would be curious to know about is when we talked about your schedule and the variety, the talent of the opposition you had, it feels pretty good to where you are going to be prepared for whoever comes out of the other district heading into next week.
Yes, sir. We certainly saw a variety this year, and opponents we've never played before. So preparation there was a lot more detail that had to go into preparation this year for playing teams for the first time around. So we're ready from that aspect. We'll get to work as soon as we know who the opponent is, and we'll get started.
Do you have an idea, just to kind of get some logistical stuff out of the way, do you have an idea of whether or not you'd be headed out on the road next week? Would you host? And then do you know about Friday or Saturday just yet?
No, those things are still up in the air. I was personally looking at the Misha handbook, and, it's an even numbered year. So if all things are even, if DeSmet wins, then they would get to host. From my calculations, I think that Misha's rule book says that the forfeit still counts as a home game for us. So either way, if DeSmet were to win and we were to win, even numbered years, District 2 gets to host. If Francis Howell wins, they would have only had 2 home games, so they would get to host. So based on my reading that rule book, I think we're going to be on the road. As far as Friday or Saturday, it says the schools need to mutually agree upon that date, and I don't know if those conversations have taken place yet, since we don't know who the opponent is.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's the logistical stuff that's very much still up in the air. But I guess I would wrap up then by going to Silas and Connor, and I'll start with you, Silas. We talked a lot about the history and what it means for you, everything you guys have accomplished this year. but now comes the chance to do even more. How excited are you to finally get back on the football field in a state semifinal game?
That's very exciting. It's been the goal of my life since 7th grade.
Connor, same thing. How bad do you want to be playing football here soon for the state semis?
We've been talking about it as a team. We've all been together since 7th grade, so this was the goal. We've all worked so hard to get here, so we're going to show out.
Looking forward to it coming up here, not this weekend, but the next. Congratulations, fellas, on a terrific year. Coach Sander, Silas, Connor, appreciate you jumping on and joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All righty. Assistant Coach Dennis Sander of the Fox Warriors with us, as well as a couple of members of the defense, Silas Stranger and Connor Sparks, 9-1. They're off this week because their District 1 championship game opponent, Lindbergh, had to forfeit due to some roster issues. So they are moving on to the Class 6 state semis.
I don't know if there's a plan. I would have to imagine they probably planned some kind of celebration. Maybe it's a pep rally, although I don't know what they can do necessarily, obviously, with COVID restrictions, and you don't want to be putting a whole bunch of people in a gym or anything like that right about now. But you know what? It's very tough for that Fox team to get their first ever district championship in such bizarre fashion, where you don't have to play a game. You don't really get to kind of have that send off of, hey, we won, look at us, we get to hoist it. So I would hope that they get some. I mean, we're celebrating them right now. Like that's certainly part of it, is us getting a chance to talk to them about it and get to hear a little bit about from them from that perspective. But obviously, what a season for this Fox program, and getting bumped up. You thought who knows how that's going to go, but they've proven up to the task every step of the way, and now they're, I said, 2 wins away from a state title, which is just crazy. So from us to them, shout out to the Fox Warriors on their first ever district championship, as strange as it has come. And hopefully they'll get to do a little celebrating here on Friday or something for them for bringing home that first ever hardware.
Well, and hopefully we can see them in person next weekend. We were talking about, like we said, just trying to figure out if that game's a Friday or Saturday, where they have to go. The reality is, if it works out, we will try to get that on regional radio airwaves next week, maybe on AM 1400 KJF. One thing is for certain, just looking at the drive charts and the numbers from what they've done this year, they've earned this. They have gone out and they've kicked some butt all year long. It's been fun. It's been really fun to track them. They've got a ton of talent, and Brent Tinker runs a first-class program. Congrats to them.
And they've done it several weeks, Nathan, on short prep time.
Now,
I know the other side has had short prep time too, but Fox has come out with the better of that.
Yeah, and it obviously showed up in, like I said, the district playoff game specifically. Combined margin of victory 91-28 over the course of 2 games. So they're grooving and rolling right now, heading into that game next week. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the other district championship games that we have this weekend, and we'll talk more about those. We got to first of all discuss though what happened with Valley Catholic this weekend, and we'll run through the rest of the area scoreboard. That's coming up after we take a time out. So stick around. More Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable coming up live from Applebee's in Farmington right here on J98.
Nicely done, Beef. When football fans everywhere cheer for their team, they're cheering for you too, because your savory snacks fuel the gridiron battle. With your tasty sliders, hearty chilies, and drool-worthy steaks, every option is an MVP. Most valuable protein. So gather around the TV and get cooking at BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Hi, it's Hannah. At Coles Tractor and Equipment, customers fell in love with the special LS 35 horsepower package deal, so we thought we should fall too. Those fall and winter jobs will be effortless with this special package deal. Get the LS 35 horsepower shuttle shift, 4-wheel drive diesel tractor with the front loader, the 5-foot brush hog, and 5-foot box blade, plus the 18-foot deluxe flatbed car hauler trailer for only $21,650. Oh, but wait, you also get the free, that's right, you'll get the free 2,700 PSI pressure washer and 2 ratchet tie downs, and of course, the best 6-year parts and labor warranty from LS, the major brand maker that you already know and love. So let me recap. Get a head start on fall and winter jobs with this tractor, loader, brush hog, box blade, and flatbed trailer, all for only $21,650, plus the free pressure washer and 2 ratchet tie downs. Financing available on site. Just give us a call at 573-756-4353 and see us on Facebook at Coles Tractor and Equipment. Don't just follow the herd, lead the herd with LS Tractors and Coles Tractor and Equipment. Highway 32 just outside of Farmington.
When it's all said and done, what really matters? For Serenity Hospice Care patient Jack, hospice isn't about giving up. It's not about the end. It's about right now. It's about spending precious time with the people we love.
Come on, Grandpa.
And the little moments that create lasting memories. It's focusing on what's important to you and remembering life is beautiful in all stages.
Make it a great family night at Applebee's Bar and Grill in Farmington. Hi, my name is Amy Cousins, General Manager of your local store. Maybe start out with a couple of appetizers: boneless wings, onion rings, mozzarella sticks, spinach artichoke dip, chicken quesadilla. There's so much to choose from. Let the kids pick from the kids menu, then for yourself, choose one of our favorites. Steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, we have it all. Go to Applebee's.com for the full menu and look for our happy hour prices. Doing good in the neighborhood, Applebee's Bar and Grill in Farmington.
Gilster Mary Lee Corporation is looking for capable professional drivers, at least 21 years old. Truck school graduates are welcome. Paid hub mileage, downtime, holiday pay, home weekly with medical and life insurance, vacation bonus, Christmas bonus, commissary privileges, plus a profit sharing program. Low turnover with a realistic first year earning of
Back in 10 seconds.
At Gilster Mary Lee in Chester, Illinois, or call Mike Welker 800-851-5371, extension 3246.
You'd be surprised. What's going on, everybody? I'm Brandon Pavlina back here on our regional radio alongside Nathan Gertz, Chad Speaker, and Stephen Kabler. And you can watch us on the MyMo Info Sports stream. If you go to YouTube and type in MyMo Info Sports, you can watch the final 30 minutes here of the program. And let's go ahead and look at our final broadcast game of the week, and then we'll go around the scores from the rest of the area. The final game on our sports stream, St. Mary's. They were the truth, and they put it to Valley Catholic in the Class 3 District 1 semifinals. Final score, 55-22. St. Mary's with a 33-point win over the defending Class 1 state champion, as I said on the MyMo Info Sports stream. And it was really just a rough start for the Warriors that put them behind the 8 ball as St. Mary's scored on their first offensive play of the game. They followed that up with a pick 6 to go up 14-0 in the blink of an eye. And then things went from bad to worse as Valley was forced to punt, and Dragons 5-star recruit Kevin Coleman took it to the house. Now 4 receivers near side. Heberly split out wide to the left. And now Fowler's just going to drop back, and he's going to punt it away, and a good kick. But it is going to wind up in the hands of Kevin Coleman, and now they've got to protect. Coleman, head of steam. Coleman breaking through. Coleman breaks another tackle. He's got daylight on the far side. One man to beat at the 10-5. Touchdown, Kevin Coleman. Punt return for 6. I mean, they tried to punt it away from him, and he ran about 15 yards to get under it like he was playing center field. It was remarkable, and he just took it all the way back to the house. I listened back to the start of the game when I got back home because I was just so shell-shocked by what I had seen happen. And really, they just made some bad mistakes early to Valley Catholic. I mean, their opening possession ended in an interception. Second possession ended in a pick 6. And then the third possession, you punted it on a 4th down and short, and it winds up in the end zone. And they were down 21-0 before they could do anything. And it was over right then and there. I mean, there was not a whole lot that Valley could do against the St. Mary's team, who was just firing on all cylinders.
Brandon, we were kind of talking before your game because I covered St. Mary's against Farmington the year prior last year. And, they had those multiple star players on their team and things like that. But what I was probably most impressed with when I covered them is the fact that it wasn't just the superstars on that team. Their offensive line was better than I anticipated. Their scheme and their discipline was better than I anticipated. And it sounds like they brought, a whole team that played well together in this one, too.
They had some dudes that were not named Kevin Coleman that were flying around. They played with a speed in this game that I just haven't seen all year from anybody. I mean, they were just flying around and hitting people with authority, and it was impressive. So early on, 21-0 in the first quarter, St. Mary's, they came out firing, and the Warriors they finally responded after going down 21-0 in the blink of an eye early. They responded. Best drive of the night. They marched all the way down the field and punched in with Bryce Geisler. First down and goal from the 1-yard line, and they're just going to come up and pound this one right over the middle. Fowler claps his hands from the 1-yard line. He gives to Geisler. Geisler's met in the hole, and Geisler powers through the contact and kicks into the end zone for 6. Valley Catholic on the board
after a monster drive and one that they desperately needed.
Yeah, they desperately needed it. Took the words right out of my own mouth right there as St. Mary's 21-7 at that point. Still a 14-point game. And just as quickly as Valley trimmed it down, St. Mary's extended it right back as they marched down the field. And then they threw a jump ball in the corner to Kevin Coleman. He went up over the top of the defender and yanked it out of the sky for a touchdown. That made it 28-7. But Valley, though, wouldn't go away. They kept showing signs of life. Jace Fallert found a wide open Drew Bauman for a 68-yard strike through the air.
Fallert now rolling to the right. He's going to throw it up deep. He's got a man wide open. It's Drew Bauman, and it's caught at the 25, and he's got no one around him, and he walks in for 6. Oh, baby. That's what Valley Catholic needed.
He was wide open all alone, but that was really it for Valley Catholic. The point after was no good as a bad snap, and it was botched, and that was it. I mean, that was it. St. Mary's rattled off 27 straight points from there to go up 55-13, and really it was over then at the end of the third quarter. Scoop and score late for the Valley defense by Mitchell Meyer, and also a botched snap by the Dragons got a safety. That's how we got to 55-22. But the Dragons, they won in commanding fashion, flat out. And Valley head coach Judd Nagger says he was proud of his team's fight, but they just could not slow down St. Mary's offense.
Oh, they're certainly an outstanding football team. They're one of the best teams that we've probably ever competed against. They've got talent at the very high level. They played hard. They got guys that you don't really stick out as much as obviously as the guys that you kind of hear about. But we thought they were extremely physical all the way across the ball. All the way across the board. I'm really kind of proud of the kids for being able to fight back there and kind of get themselves and the crowd back in the game. We just couldn't get a stop.
Well, that's really what it came down to. Couldn't get a stop. And he echoed the sentiment that you had, Chad, where he just said, look, I mean, there's guys on that field that aren't the big name guys that are maybe better than some of the players that you're going to see in our entire listening area playing up in that St. Louis County. And they certainly showed it that night. Now, like I said, I listened back to the beginning of this ball game in that first half, and there was a couple of back-breaking plays as the game continued to progress, particularly a second down at 26. After Valley had cut it to a 2-score game in which they went for an 80-something yard touchdown on a second down at 26. There was a couple of those, but really more than anything for Valley, I think if they could have had a restart in this game, gotten their feet underneath them a little bit earlier, they would have been a much more competitive team throughout. But when you go down 21-0 to a juggernaut that has this kind of speed, there was really not a whole lot that Valley could do. So you tip your cap to the Valley Warriors, another undefeated regular season. Of course, a terrific team this year, but they just ran into a really, really, really good St. Mary's team on Friday. So a tough way for the Valley season to end. Of course, last year's Class 1 state champion, but St. Mary's the better team on that field on Friday night. Valley 9-1 on the year. St. Mary's now 4-1. They're going to take on Kennett coming up on Friday for the district championship, and that should be an absolute slugfest out there. Let's go ahead and look. Let's go ahead and look around the rest of our scoreboard tonight, or from Friday night. As I said, or right out of the gate, there were 5, and then there were 5 because we only got 5 teams left. Tough district semifinal round for our area team. Some really good games though. Hayti just barely getting past St. Vincent, 54-41 there. St. Vincent in Class 1 District 1 giving Hayti certainly a good fight there. Jefferson, they put it on Kelly in the Class 2 District 1 semifinal, 40-7, the final score. The Blue Jays won there. And despite Kelly's early lead, Coach Alex Rugley, he says his team was able to hold strong and pull through.
Kelly came out and scored on us first, but again, the resiliency that continues to happen from our kids, the fight that's shown from our kids, came through, and we were able to kind of go up 13-7 there, and then at halftime, and then just be able to put some long drives together there in the second half.
Well, I'm not sure, Nathan, if you were reacting to what I was reacting to. They went down 7-0. They rattled off 40 points. Some big offensive nights for those Blue Jays.
How about 23 carries for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns from Dylan Schnitzler? I mean, that kid runs like a bulldog, and he might have turned into a mastiff that night. I mean, he just barreled over dudes. And this Jefferson team, I think, is just far better even than 7-2 in the case. Yeah. They're close to being as complete a football team as you could hope for.
The Valley Catholic loss really distorted, I think, everyone's opinion of what this team is and was capable of being. I mean, Valley's going to not lose to a whole lot of teams. They're going to make a lot of teams look really, really bad. Jefferson, we said coming into this year, we thought they had a chance to be, if not the best team in the area, certainly one of them. And as the season has progressed, ever since that Valley game, ever since the quarantine, it's just been better and better and better for them.
I'd throw the Valley Catholic game out and
throw it out
and instead point to the fact that they should probably be 8-1 even right now. Colby Ott and Dylan Schnitzler both did not play in the only other loss of the year to Cuba. If they're healthy on the field for that one, I think Valley might have been the only blemish. They've got an outstanding team this year.
Well, we're going to see how far they can go, and it's going to be a fun one coming up on Friday. We'll talk about that one in just a little bit as Jefferson will play New Madrid. I hate that name.
New Madrid County Central.
No, that's not how it goes. It's a whole different thing. Or wait, no, it is. It is New Madrid County Central. I don't know. It's too many words. I already said today. It's just too many words.
Wrap him in his head.
It's too much. Too much. Too much. That's Class 2 District 1. Class 3 District 1. Kennett beat St. Genevieve 47-29. St. Gen, though, really strong finish to the season, and obviously they put up a fight against Kennett. Aiden Boyer, he had himself a game on Friday night, 24 of 48. They asked him to throw 48 passes that night, and he did it well. 50% completion, 385 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
They did not have a pitch count on him that
No,
night.
no, and the longest play of the night through the air, 99-yard touchdown. So big explosive plays, and obviously you go for
national record.
You go for almost 400 passing yards in a game at any level. You're doing something right, and Aiden Boyer was certainly doing that. So shout out to him. But Kennett gets the win there. As I said, St. Mary's beat Valley Catholic 55-22. Cardinal Ritter, they put it to Central as well. That was another tough one there for Corey Schweiss and company, Class 3 District 2. Cardinal Ritter, they beat Central 45-14. And we talked to Coach Schweiss afterward. You know, I mean, listen, I just not knowing much about those St. Louis teams this year because they hadn't played many games, and all they had really played was each other, which only allowed for more speculation because you don't know what you're playing against when you're playing against a team you don't know a whole lot about. I wasn't sure what this Ritter team was. Ritter was pretty darn sure of who they were.
Yeah, a lot of the area coaches, you know, they'd done their homework too and knew that Central was in for a tough test. Corey Schweiss even said, you know, when they won in like week 9 to close the regular season, all right, we're going to get our top seed. We're going to get, you know, our bye. And then guess what? Our reward is Cardinal Ritter. And, you know, Corey Schweiss was not particularly happy after some of their wins this year. Mm-hmm. But listening to him after this game, it sounded like he liked the effort, you know, and that's really all you can ask out of your team is, you know, did you guys play as hard as you can? Did you execute what we asked you to do? And then Corey Schweiss, in listening to him, seemed like he was, you know, relatively pleased.
And in Central goes the same way with Valley Catholic. I mean, what a season for that Rebels bunch. I know when I had talked to Coach Schweiss this summer, they had been talking about, you know, how can we get back to these 8, 9, 10 win seasons? They did it this year. They fought hard every single time out. And what a season it was. I mean, you have the epic win over Farmington that you can look back on.
That's their bullet point.
I mean, there are a lot of fun things for the Central team throughout the year. Of course, it's just another unbelievable season for Deshaun Welch, and he's not done yet. So you got to give a lot of love to that Central team. Jet Bridges,
conference champion again.
Conference champions again. They continue that streak of either a conference or a district championship. I mean, they're doing a lot of good things. They ran into a tough opponent, but you got to give a lot of love to that Central team and what they were able to accomplish this year. And I'm excited. I mean, they were a young team this year. They only had a handful of seniors. Coach Schweiss had talked about it, man. That junior class this year is loaded, and they're coming back for their senior year next year. So watch out for that Central team. As good as they were this year, they could be even better next year with Deshaun and Jet on their senior seasons. Of course, now they know what they're going to have to go up against when they get to that district round. But this is going to be a fun Central team, as they have been for the last, I don't know how many years. Expect the 2021 version to be even better. And that's okay. Nobody else. All right. Class 4 District 1, Festus, big win over DeSoto, 35-7. Of course, we talked about that one. Another exciting game. North County edging out Hillsborough 36-28. Farmington edging out Seckman 24-6 in Class 5 District 1. And then let's hear from Brent Tinker, because we didn't get a chance to talk to him on the program, but we did catch him on our post-game show, or home Pools and Spas end zone show. Class 6 District 1, Fox beat Lafayette 49-28. Coach Tinker said he was impressed with his players.
With all the stuff everybody's gone through, to have them come out and keep playing the way they are is very admirable. I'm very happy with the kids.
Well, there you go. Brent Tinker on the program tonight, joining us, as so did his assistant coach, Dennis Sanders, and also, oh boy, I can't read Nathan's handwriting. Silas Stranger and Connor Sparks. No offense, Nathan. That's a little chicken scratch over there. It's better than I've seen before, though. So that's it. Fox gets the win. They move on, and they are district champions now, too, as they also won by forfeit. So here's the thing, guys. I said it from the jump. I've said it a couple times now. There's only 5 teams left. You can only pick a handful of teams for big winners. Who are your big winners of the week? Only a handful of teams to pick from. You can go off the board like I've done in the past. 1 week I picked our big winners as fans of offense. You know, if you're a little creative, you can just pick one of the teams. Chad, will start with you, unless you're still pondering. Then we can start with Nathan.
You know, I know that you said only a handful of teams to pick, but I'm actually going to pick a loser this time. I thought St. Genevieve finished the season strong, and they were in that game against Kennett for a long time. And, you know, the final score really didn't get away from them a whole lot. And, you know, considering where they came from this season, a tough start, and then they had to work through COVID and some off weeks. And you know, we've watched Kennett from afar all season long and know how good they are. I thought St. Genevieve acquitted themselves well. And you know, you talk about youthful teams. I mean, they have some very good young talent. And I think, if anything, you know, a positive to close the season, to springboard they maybe into the offseason and better things to come next year.
St. Jen earned a small victory over Kennett, specifically over the Kennett players, because this week has been awful in practice. Coaches up on them left and right saying, why was it that close? Why was it that hard? They made those Kennett players work going into the district championship game.
Nathan, who do you have as your big winner?
I mean, the Jefferson Blue Jays have only played for a district championship once in their school history, very, very short history going back to 2011, and they punched their ticket with just authority. They're playing great football on all cylinders. They're going to get to host the district title game now because of the way things worked out in their bracket. Like I said, they've improved on offense so much from where they were even just a year ago, and they've been a stingy defensive team for a while. I can't wait to see what they pull off on Friday.
Steven?
I mean, it's a game that I was on the call for. I'm going to go with the North County Raiders just because, I mean, you mentioned it, first district championship since 2005. They get I mentioned it in the broadcast a little bit on the game with Michael. They may be on a revenge tour here. They lost to Hillsboro, then they get to go play Festus again. Like, if North County can get this win, you know, this Friday, it'd be, you know, they started step one of the revenge tour, getting the win against Hillsboro. I think it's really cool. You know, that's always a mindset, of course, for a young football team like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Kind of turn the tables down the stretch. It'd be a fun way to finish things out.
And guys, for, you know, like you said, that's a mindset. Festus might now. AJ Foley's done a great job, but Festus might go into this thing thinking, well, we already beat these guys. You know, when I was a senior in high school, we knocked off the number 3 ranked team in the state in our first game. We ended up playing them later that year, deep in the playoffs, and we thought, well, this is fine. We're going to the state semifinals or whatever, and they knocked us off. So,
also, was Austin Anderson part of that game against North County?
He was not. He was out by that time already, and that was the first really full game because he was in for the first play against Hillsboro, and they had to kind of change on the fly.
58 yards.
Yeah, and North County was the first game that they were going without him, the first full week of practice without him. So they have an idea of how to do it, but I am curious to see how it goes because, and we'll talk more about it when we preview that game. 39-35, and it was weird. It was even weirder and wilder than that final score indicates.
And then my big winner, I'm going to pick the Fox Warriors because you win your first district championship as a program. You certainly deserve a tip of the cap. So we appreciate the Fox Warriors for joining us on the program, and big shout out to them for they won this past week, and then bizarrely enough, no game for them, but they are district champions already. So shout out to the Fox Warriors. So there you go. Those are your big winners. We're going to come back and we're going to allow everyone to preview their game here this week and not just have me talk over everybody. I don't have a game this week, so I don't have to ramble on. You guys will hear previews coming up from Chad, Steven, and Nathan on all their broadcast action coming up on Friday. So stick around. That's how we'll wrap up the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable live from Applebee's in Farmington.
Cozy Memorial Chapel has been serving Farmington and the surrounding communities since 1864. Their commitment of service to the community is deeply rooted in Missouri.
How many minutes? 23 minutes, 30 seconds, right?
Well, how much is that? How many ads
John
we have left?
Cozine is proud to be
Yes.
the fourth
Yeah, play all the ads we have
to
left.
operate Cozy Memorial Chapel and is proud to support Farmington High
Preview
School.
the action.
Cozy Memorial Chapel.
Got it.
serving
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
At 217 West Columbia Street in Farmington.
Be a part of the Jefferson County Family YMCA's first ever virtual auction. Hi, this is Debbie Siebert. This year, our annual holiday auction will be a virtual event November 16th through the 21st, and everyone can be a part of it. And it's so easy to participate and bid from any device. Email us at jeffcoy.auction@gwrymca.org or call us at 636-931-9622. Bidding for a better Y is easier than ever this year. Please be a part of our virtual auction November 16th through the 21st.
Champions are made here. On our courts, on our fields, and in our classrooms. Why settle for ordinary when you can be part of greatness? Mineral Area College. Become a Cardinal today.
Ready to try something new? If you haven't been to Pizza 101 South in world famous Bonne Terre, Missouri, I personally invite you and your family to stop by and give us a try. Hi, my name is Dustin Gerstenslager, owner of Pizza 101 South. You got to try our homemade sauces plus our pizza dough that is made fresh daily. Brick oven pizza, pasta, hot wings, salad, and over 20 beers on tap. Open 7 days a week. Pizza 101 South, 101 South Division, Bonne Terre, Missouri.
Fall is here and winter is on the way. This is Randy from Gifford Lumber Company in Farmington, and we're always ready to help you get what you need no matter what the season may be. Plumbing, electrical, hardware, lumber, tools, and so much more. Stop by and see us. Check the Makita, Yeti, and Traeger grill inventory. We're Gifford Lumber Company, and we're hometown proud. Located on Potosi Street in Farmington.
Gifford Lumber Company in Farmington, hometown proud.
Coldwell Banker Holsey Real Estate has been the trusted real estate advisor for over 60 years in the mineral area. Hi, I'm Kim Hudson, owner of Coldwell Banker Holsey Real Estate. No one has helped more people buy or sell real estate in our community than the agents at Coldwell Banker Holsey Real Estate. We are proud of the community in which we live and serve. Contact us today for all your real estate needs. Find us on Facebook or online at coldwellbankerholsey.com. Coldwell Banker Holsey, we would love to be your realtor.
Whatever your educational
Coming to you in
goals,
30 seconds.
Jefferson College, with caring faculty, convenient locations, and award-winning academic programs, your future is Jefferson College's focus. To learn more, call 636-797-3000 or visit jeffco.edu for a complete list of degrees and programs. Enroll now.
For higher education, for higher expectations, Jefferson College, and you.
We need more cowbell, folks. We're in the home stretch. Our final segment on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable live from Applebee's in Farmington of the 2020 season. I'm Brandon Pavlina, Nathan Gertz to my left, Chad Speaker across the way, Stephen Kapler behind the computer, and you listening or watching on YouTube at FIMO Info Sports. And let's go ahead and look ahead to our broadcast games here this week in our final segment. District Championship action, a lot of good games. Really, really good action in the first time these two teams met. Nathan, you'll be on the call on J98 for the first time all year. The folks at KJEF have gotten used to hearing your dulcet tones coming through the airwaves. Now the folks across the entire listening area on J98 have a chance to hear you. North County at Festus. It's going to be a fun one.
I mean, it was a tremendous game when they first met, and I was talking with you guys during the break. That's a game that featured 7 turnovers and over 200 yards in penalties. So if it's a little cleaner, who knows what these two teams will put together. That was maybe Carter Kekek's best offensive game of the year. He was a dominant force as a receiver. Nolan Reed was great at QB for North County. If they can get both those guys to play very well again, on top of what Job Smith just gave them, they're going to be able to move the ball. I'm interested to see how North Festus responds to this, because we talked about, will they overlook North County? Will they just be a little too caught up in the excitement of playing for that moment on your home field of a district championship? Because slow starts have gotten in the way for much of the year up until this last week when they went out and they were up 14-0 early on in the first quarter against DeSoto. I'm really curious to see if they're able to handle themselves better at the line of scrimmage. That was a dominant game up front for North County the first time around. Peyton Allen had a monster performance. If he goes out and does that again, that'll play a big, big role in whether or not the Raiders have an opportunity in this one. I do think, regardless, we're headed for another four-quarter game, and this one ended where Festus scored a go-ahead touchdown with about 2 minutes to go, and I think you can get the same sort of finish this time.
Well, Nathan, I think Steven could speak to it. You touched on Carter Kekek having his best offensive game against the Festus Tigers. He's starting to get cooking out there. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that he's been a great player all year long, but I'll tell you what, from the highlights and from the way that both Coach Zaharsky and Coach Jones talked about Carter's performance in the semifinal game, if he's feeling it out there on Friday night, if he could keep that momentum going, his impact on both sides of the ball is second to none in the area with the way he can ball hawk the ball out of the air and catch passes on the defensive side.
Well, it's actually, I mean, I would say all three phases. He completely changed the kicking game from the jump against Hillsborough in that semifinal game, returning that opening kickoff. They didn't kick it deep once again the entire game because they knew what he could do. Again, he starts the game off with that one, and then puts the finishing touches on the game with the interception. Sprinkle it in there. He had a couple of chances. Had a really good chance to come down with a touchdown on the third down play before the end of the first half. Comes down on the ground and ends up falling gets his feet in, but falls on the triple jump track there behind the field, and I guess drops maybe hits his hand and drops the ball. They end up scoring anyway, but still made plenty of plays out there on both sides of the ball and on special teams. So yeah, I mean, you're exactly right, Brandon. If he's still cooking and he gets it going, he is dangerous.
Yeah, if he's in rhythm from the jump, if he's already locked in the zone and can carry that momentum over, Festus needs to be concerned about this matchup because Carter can change that game at the drop of a hat. Chad, let's look at your game on KREI and another rematch here. Farmington and Jackson. We know what Jackson is. We know how good they are. But Farmington, they're going to go down there and slug it out and give them the best they can.
Well, they will. 50. They gave up during the regular season in this one, 56-14. But if you look at Jackson's season, every game is like that, and Farmington knows what's in store for them in that one. 7 players ran the ball for Jackson. 6 of them caught passes. They've got a 3-year starter in Cale Welker that spreads it out and just finds his targets all over the field. If you think about styles and matchups, for Farmington, they've got the right style in this matchup. I mean, if you can beat Jackson, the way you do it is you keep it away, you drive the ball, you melt the clock, and you hope for a turnover in this one. But, even with that, they're just so good. They execute at such a high level, and they have so many guys that are playmakers, and it's going to be tough. But you know what? Farmington's in the game, and you got to be in it to have a chance at it. Farmington was able to come up. Now, last year, Farmington had the best playmaker on the field in Royce Harris. But it was on the defensive side, actually, that Farmington played probably their best game I've seen them play in the first half. They actually led Jackson at the half. It was tied at 14 going into the fourth. Farmington does not have the same type of dynamic team this year, but they have the same style. And if they can execute it, they can hang in a while, but it's going to be so hard.
We're talking about a team that's ripped off 10-minute drives this year. So, I mean, the best, if you're talking about a great offense to go up against Jackson, this is it. I love the idea of having the double wing going in there just on the basis of I can sit on the football for as long as possible and do what they did against Seckman at the end of the day, which is make drives count. They finish them off with points.
In that first meeting too, Nathan, the Farmington actually executed on their first drive exactly what they wanted to do. They pounded it out. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They actually led in this game before losing. And so if they can capture what they did in that drive and duplicate it a little bit, then they can hang in. The other thing is when Jackson scored, they scored so fast. Their first 4 touchdowns, they used 9 total plays. So they just went right down the field. Farmington had some missed coverages, and then that got in Farmington's head a little bit. They had some special teams gaffes. They had some blown coverages, and that is not typical of the Knights. So they have to also play between the ears as well as playing between the lines. So we'll see how it goes.
And then the final game, Stephen Kabler will be on AM 1400 KJEF for the first time this year. As he'll be joining the folks up in Jefferson County, and he's going to have a good one. New Madrid County Central at Jefferson. And Nathan, I know you were doing a little looking at it. Stephen, we'll start with you, man. What are your thoughts on this one?
Dude, I mean, I am just excited. We've been talking about this Jefferson squad, all year, and then they've just been getting better and better and better. Coach Rugley's really got that squad rocking and rolling, and I've been talking to Nathan just about, how good they are. And I'm just excited to see what these guys can bring to the table, especially in such a big game at home, in a district championship game with a chance to move on to the sectional round of the state playoffs. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that, moving forward for a team gets to play at home in front of their home crowd, smaller crowds, of course. But I'm just really excited to see what these Jefferson Blue Jays bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't find a whole lot of things that they don't do well. They run the ball extremely well this year, better than they have in a long time. They're not going to light you up throwing it, but Drew Brees does what he has to do. It's a little bit of an interception problem. If he holds on to the ball, they'll be okay. They'll give it to Colby Ott and Dylan Schnitzler a lot, first and foremost, on that end. And then on defense, they're going to rely on Ott and Dawson Jakubek, who have been all-state talents the last 2 years. As far as New Madrid County Central, just looking through the opposition that they've played so far, a couple of common opponents, at least within the area. They played Valley Catholic, lost 62-18. That happened to everybody. But they've also seen the likes of Kennett and Hayti during the regular season. And both games, they scored at least 25 points. They also won 45-0 against Donovan and 40-20 against Dexter. So they're capable on offense. They can score points. And that'll be the interesting thing is how many stops can Jefferson get, because the strength of the team the last couple of years has been the defense. And if they get off the field, I think the offense is improving to where they're going to have a shot going in the fourth.
Well, I saw that Dexter team a couple of weeks ago against St. Genevieve. That's a really good football team, too. So if they could beat them down the way that they did, Jefferson's going to certainly have their hands full.
Should be a heck of a lot of fun. I can't wait to have a chance to see that in R7.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, everyone say goodbye. We're heading out. Chad Speaker, Stephen Kabler, Nathan Gertz. That's going to do it for us. Any parting words,
See you
gentlemen?
next year, I guess, huh?
And
Thank you.
Shall.
Thank you to everybody here at Applebee's in Farmington all year. They've been fantastic hosts.
Absolutely. Big thanks, of course, as well to Hunter Creevy back in the studio. So let's sign this puppy off, shall we? That's going to do it for us on this week's edition of Cole's Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable live from Applebee's in Farmington. If you missed any of our conversations here tonight, we will have it posted to our website, mimoinfo.com. You can always go to our Hearing Care Partners broadcast schedule at mimoinfo.com. You can see a full list of all of our upcoming broadcasts there. You can also get broadcast information and also places where you can stream the game right there on that broadcast schedule. As Nathan alluded to, big thanks to Greg and Christy Cole and Cole's Tractor and Equipment for sponsoring the roundtable. A big thanks to Amy Cousins and the entire staff here at Applebee's in Farmington for sponsoring and hosting the roundtable. And of course, a big thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in and hanging out with us. Chad Speaker, Jacob Vincent not here tonight, Stephen Kabler, Nathan Gertz, Hunter Greavy back in the studio. I'm Brandon Pavlina. Be good, my beautiful people, and we'll talk to you again soon.